In this module, you will learn about reproduction and its relation to body design. How is reproduction associated with body designs of organisms? Reproduction is related to the body design of organisms. At a very basic level, organisms can be divided as unicellular and multicellular. Based on the body design, living organisms can undergo two modes of reproduction: asexual and sexual. The mode of reproduction is called asexual when a single individual is responsible for the formation of new generation. For example, new plants are grown without the production of seeds. The sexual mode of reproduction, on the other hand, requires two individuals to create a new generation. The germ cells of two parent plants, such as egg cell and pollen, combine to create the seed for a new plant. In plants, this mode of reproduction produces seeds. This gives rise to new plants. What are the different types of asexual reproduction? The two forms of asexual mode of reproduction are fission, fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation, tissue culture, and spore formation. In this module, you learned that plants reproduce through two modes of reproduction: asexual and sexual. The mode of reproduction is called asexual when a single individual is responsible for the formation of new generation. The sexual mode of reproduction requires two individuals to create a new generation. In this module, you learn about fission, fragmentation, regeneration, and budding in organisms. What is fission? Fission is a process in which a cell divides into two or more cells. Fission is also called cell division, where the mother cells divide to form the daughter cells. Unicellular organisms like protozoans reproduce by fission. Amoeba undergoes different patterns of fission. An amoeba can split in any given plane into two daughter cells. This fission is known as binary fission. Types of binary fission. All organisms do not divide in the same way. In organisms like Paramecium, the animal transversely divides into two daughter individuals. This type of splitting is called transverse binary fission. Organisms like Euglena and Leishmania undergo binary fission in a definite orientation in relation to the whip-like structures present at one end of its cell. This type of splitting is called longitudinal binary fission. What is multiple fission? The process in which an organism divides into many daughter cells is called multiple fission. The malarial parasite, Plasmodium, reproduces by multiple fission. What are the methods of reproduction in multicellular organisms? Some of the reproductive methods used by unicellular organisms do work with multicellular organisms that have relatively simple body organization or design. For example, organisms like the Spirogyra reproduce by fragmentation. It simply breaks up into smaller pieces upon maturation. Each of these pieces or fragments grows into a new individual. Do all multicellular organisms undergo fragmentation? All multicellular organisms do not undergo the same type of reproduction. Multicellular organisms are complex in design, so they undergo complex ways of reproduction. This is because multicellular organisms are not just a random collection of cells. They consist of specialized cells organized as tissues. Tissues are organized into organs, placed at definite positions on the body of the organism. Cell division wouldn't lead to another individual in such cases. What are the different types of reproduction in complex organisms? Multicellular organisms use more complex ways of reproduction. There is typically a single cell type in the organism that is capable of growing, multiplying, and creating other cell types under appropriate conditions. This can happen through regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation, and spore formation. What is regeneration? Regeneration is the development of new individuals from its body parts. For example, the fully differentiated organisms, such as Hydra or Planaria, can be cut or broken down into many pieces. Each of these cut pieces can grow into separate individuals. The cut cells have specialized cells for reproduction. These cells proliferate into a large number of cells. From this mass of cells, different cells undergo changes to become various cell types and tissues. What is budding? In organisms like Hydra, a bud develops as an outgrowth due to repeated cell division of regenerative cells at a specific site. This process is called budding. These buds detach from the parent Hydra and develop into an independent individual. In this module, you learned that fission is the type of reproduction in simpler organisms, where a single cell splits into two or more daughter cells. Fragmentation occurs in organisms like Spirogyra, in which the organism breaks up into smaller pieces on maturation. Each fragment grows into the new individual. Regeneration occurs in some fully differentiated organisms like Hydra and Planaria. If the organism is cut up, its pieces can grow into separate individuals. Organisms like Hydra reproduce by budding. They use the regenerated cells for reproduction in the process of budding. A bud develops as an outgrowth due to repeated cell division at a specific site on the hydra. Each of these buds develops into the new individual.